It's Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Run Pure Sports Round 3 PGA Showdown. I'll be your host tonight, Red Kachik, and I'm joined tonight by Locks. Apologies for getting off to a late start. That is all on me. Locks was prompt, and I had shit to tend to. That was unfortunate. So appreciate you guys hanging in there and able to join us tonight. I'll bring in my guy, Locks. How's everything for you, man?
Yeah, going okay. I feel you. I mean, in the middle of moving and everything. Got a lot going on at work too, so crap happens, you know. It is what it is. We move on, but hey, I'm sure we're going to pick some winners and we're going to win some money, so we'll make things all better. Sorry, we're 23 minutes late. It is what it is. Showing off my new digs here. I figured I'd, show you my new house.
I like it.
But yeah, hey, I'm ready to dial it in. Your extra time allowed me to dial in some more winners, so I think we're pretty dialed. I say we get it going and pick some winners.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to take a peek at the weather? I'm just looking at it now, I think, for Saturday. It looks like it's just rain in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing. It's like heavy winds early morning and then kind of dies out and then comes back in the afternoon again. Yeah,
it looks like I'm just guesstimating here. I think, let's see here, around 7. So, pretty much, from 7 on, it's kind of 10 miles per hour or less. I guess in the afternoon, it starts to get a little windy or a little rainy. I'm sorry. But it sounds like everyone's going off in like a 2-hour window. So there won't be much of an edge, I guess, from a tee time perspective. Of course, can't really play the AM guys. Everyone's an AM guy. So, we can start with the top to a couple guys. We got Rory McIlroy playing really solid golf right before the British Open next week at 10 under par. Tyrrell Hatton played outstanding today. Him, Tom Kim, and Benny On, who kind of fell flat today, are holding down second place at 9 under par. Honestly, I think Rory's going to be the chalk du jour for tomorrow and probably throughout the entire weekend. I will say Benny On's still hitting the ball really well. Been pretty pleased with him today was worse than it was yesterday, obviously, but I still think he's in a good spot going into the weekend. I got him at 7,500 for tomorrow, so don't hate that. As far as like the leaders go, as the top of the board goes, I guess Rory's probably the safest at 10-8. So it's hard to kind of fade where he's at. Honestly, I don't think he's even putting that well. I got him 3 for 11 inside of 12 feet. So Rory's kind of almost on autopilot. It seems like playing really well tee to green. No surprise there. So I guess it'd really just be Rory up here. I know Tom Kim was really popular in Showdown today and played pretty well, but any particular thoughts up here? These guys are obviously playing well, but I think Rory's just going to be a scary fade. He's going to be super chalky to be on top of it.
Yeah, and for good reason. From tee to green, he's striping the ball so well right now. Just absolutely as dialed as he can be, but the putts aren't falling. Still just playing really well. It's hard to fade him, like you said. But in GPPs, I don't mind doing it because, I don't know, I'm willing to take chances, I guess. I'm more aggressive like that. So I'd be fine fading him tomorrow. Obviously, I wouldn't be completely off him. That's just a guy I would never completely X out of my pool because I'd hate myself for it. But definitely would be under the field on him tomorrow, me personally. The guys I do like the most here are Tom Kim and Benny On. Benny On just had a letdown round a little bit. Obviously, the first round just immaculate. I see him bouncing back a little bit for us tomorrow. So, tee to green wise, it's still there. The putts just didn't really fall for him today. He is still hitting it just fine. So I'll go back to him. And then Tom Kim, he likes this course. Tee to green wise, again, hitting it well all week so far. Just hasn't gotten a ton of putts to fall. So Benny On and Tom Kim for me up here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think Benny On is in a prime bounce back point, I think, for tomorrow. We can go down to the next range here. We have Sam Burns, Brian Harmon at -8, and I'll just go ahead and lump in the -7s. Got our guy Scotty Scheffler playing a little bit of good golf here, average golf, and he's still in the top 10 again this week. So he has like the second highest chance of winning this golf tournament, which is surprising. being 3 shots back with some decent players ahead of him. But yeah, it's McIlroy and then Scheffler. Might not be a surprise to you, but yeah, it was interesting to see how good his odds are, even being 3 shots back of McIlroy with like a 30% chance of winning this golf tournament, which is crazy. So Patty Harrington played extremely well, and then Nikolai Højgaard played really, really, really well today. Lost strokes putting and still shot 7 under par. Was just elite with his irons. I think he had a kick in for eagle at one point, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think just kind of briefly looking through these guys here. I mean, honestly, Højgaard still stands out pretty well just based on how good his irons have been. I won't be playing any Sam Burns. I mean, honestly, he's going to be pretty low owned, I assume, because people are sharp enough. But he gained 3 strokes putting today. Haven't been playing much Brian Harman anyway, so that'll probably be a fade for me. Has not been hitting very, very many close iron shots. He's got 5 shots inside of 12 feet, which is less than half that Scotty Scheffler has. So I think Scotty's fine again for tomorrow. Honestly, at 11-3, I don't see a really easy way to fit Scheffler and McIlroy in. I don't think I want to, but I think Scheffler's fine. Honestly, there's between the two of them, McIlroy and Scheffler, I would want pretty good exposure to both, because I do think if I can get obviously the best player in the world, honestly, Rory or Scheffler on any given day, I think I want him for round 3 tomorrow. But yeah, I think Nikolai's still a good value, 7,300. He's still pretty cheap, and honestly, he's playing really good golf. I think this golf course fits him off the tee. It's pretty forgiving off the tee, honestly, and his irons have been good. So yeah, I'll keep going back to Nikolai, and yeah, no surprise. Scheffler's he's just playing good golf, not just this week, but for the last 2 seasons. So anybody, you're going to go back to Sam Burns. Is anyone going to play Sam Burns tomorrow?
Me, no. I'm with you there. I will not be throwing him in. He'll be an X out for me. This range, honestly, 7 and 8 unders right here. It's 2 names, and it's the 2 you mentioned, Nikolai and Scotty Scheffler. It's just these guys are hitting the ball really well this week. I think they come out firing again tomorrow. Like you said, I mean, to lose strokes putting and still shoot 7 under today, that's a little scary. If he can dial that in, I mean, look out. He can come right back with another 7 under round tomorrow. So definitely interest in Nikolai there. Could see maybe a core play there later, a show core. But as we dig in, yeah, let's dive down. There's a lot of 6 unders down here we can talk about. What are you thinking as far as this range goes? Yeah,
there's actually some no names or guys that not many of us have heard about. The one guy I brought up last night was Grant Forrest. Played pretty well today. Shot 5 under par. Lost a little bit off the tee. He gained almost 2 strokes with approach, and he gained 2 strokes putting. Again, gaining strokes putting is kind of what you have to do anyways around this golf course. But Grant Forrest is going to be a guy, like I said, I mentioned him last night. He played about the same, to be honest, as he did in round 1. He just made a few more putts. So Grant Forrest at 6,800, I'm going to go back to. Let's see. Soderberg is interesting. These cheap guys. To be fair, I mean, I didn't watch Ewan, whatever his name is, Ferguson's round, but I was interested in playing him for the week long. He obviously had the bad weather split today. Played pretty good yesterday. I probably might have a sprinkle a little bit of Ewan. I think he's at 600, right? Where's he at? Did I mess up his score? He's at 500. My bad. I skipped ahead. Sorry. So Grant Forrest is the guy that I like. As far as the studs go, I mean, Ricky Fowler is fine to keep, going back to. I think he'll be lower owned than he was the first 2 rounds. I'm not interested in playing any Max Homa. And yeah, that's probably it. Daniel Hillier is kind of like an anomaly, to be fair. His strokes gained approach looks really good, but he's really not hitting anything that close. He's just hitting a lot of greens from further distances in the field, it looks like. So, yeah, I think for me, it's really Grant Forrest, and I'll have some Ricky Fowler as a lower-owned guy, I hope, at 10-2. I mean, he's just so expensive, and there's McIlroy, $600 more.
Yeah, I definitely love the Ricky call. I've been on him all week. I think you were high on him, actually, for this week. So I'll be playing him definitely tomorrow. I mean, he could have gone so much lower today, I feel like, and we could see a big round from him. He's been playing well on Saturdays. So I definitely have some interest in Ricky tomorrow. Max Homa is another guy I think kind of bounces back a little bit, kind of a 2 under round, didn't really hit the irons well. I think he bounces back with the irons tomorrow. So I could see a low round out of him, 5-6 under, something like that. And then Soderberg, it's funny you mentioned him. I actually just threw him up in my core.
Nice.
Before we started.
He's making nothing. He's made nothing.
The first round, a third in the field in strokes gained, tee to green. I mean, hitting the ball great. Another second round, hitting the ball great again. Just can't get a putt to fall. So to still be at 6 under, 2-3 under rounds, I could see him shooting 6-7 under tomorrow and going deep for us at a super low price tag. So definitely some interest there. And then I think maybe Yannick Paul bounces back for us. A horrid round today, but first round looked really solid. So I could see a bounce back for him tomorrow too.
Alrighty. Yeah, definitely some Europeans that are starting to shine a little bit that, again, it was kind of hard to gauge how they're going to come into an event like this, especially with the weather splits. There was definitely some guys I faded that had the bad weather splits, and they made the cut over my guys like Ross Fisher, who decided to shoot 77 or something today after shooting 67 yesterday. So I think he was almost 10 shots worse today. But the 6-6 rate is pretty low this week. If you have a 6-6, you're looking pretty good. Probably going to have a sweat. Your main is a 6-6?
My main's a 6 out of 6. It's not even cashing right now.
It's going to cash. It's going to make it up. It's got to. Who's your cheapest guy that made the cut?
Hold on. I don't even remember. Let me pull it back up.
I didn't know if it was like a $6,500 guy or you like somehow nailed the mid-range and got like a $7K guy as your last one in. Because the 6Ks was like really tough to go either way. Like you take a shot on a European, it's going to be 2% owned, or you just play Michael Kim or some other PGA.
Yeah, no, my lowest guy was Jordan Smith.
7,300? Is that what he was?
72, and then Bjork at 73.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty good lineup. Balanced, right?
Yep.
Not too bad. All right, let's talk about the 5 unders. I see some comments in the chat. You guys can keep them coming. Appreciate it. David Porter got a string of comments there. Yeah, Scheffler's always a free square, more or less. And then Andrew Martinez asked, what about Rory and single entry? I think Rory and single entry makes a lot of sense at the price and how well he's playing. Like I really see him. Honestly, you're probably going to lose out on chalk in certain contests if you don't play Rory. Like the pivot you would play off of Rory would be Ricky, who would just be like a GPP play. Scheffler's probably equally good. You just got to pay up for it. So you're making a pivot somewhere else. So yeah, Rory and single entry makes a ton of sense. And then last one from David Porter. How does a pro golfer suck that bad after looking so good? I don't know who we were just talking about, but plenty of them in my lineups if you want to look at how pro golfers suck. So all right, we'll move on to the 500 range. Another pretty wide range here. Some good guys that had nice comebacks. Hovland shot 7 under, jumped down below the 5s again. Pretty good names. We'll talk about Hovland here in a second. Pretty good names in this range that played really well. All of them pretty much gained strokes putting. And again, it's kind of what you have to do on this golf course. Shane Lowry shot 6 under. Eric Van Rooyen out of nowhere shot 7 under. My favorite is going to be Wyndham Clark. Very, very good ball strike in the first 2 rounds. I got him 10 shots. He's hit inside of 12 feet, and he's only made 4 of them on the par 4s and par 3s. He's gaining on 65% of his tee shots, and he's gaining on 70% of his iron. So basically, every single shot he's hitting, he's basically positive in strokes gained. So I really do like Wyndham Clark. If you give me an option to take him first in the core later in the show, that'll be my guy at 9,400. I mean, he's playing so solid. No surprise there, but he is playing really well this week. He's losing a bit putting. And I think any round, this weekend or going into the British Open is going to be a low one. So keep your eye on Wyndham Clark, and then at 9,400, I like him quite a bit. The other guys in this range, though, that played really well, like Lowry is not really doing it for me. He just made a ton of putts. Irons don't look great to me. Eric Van Rooyen's kind of in the same boat, to be fair. There's really not anybody. I mean, honestly, a lot of these guys just gained a ton of strokes putting, and they didn't really do much ball striking wise. So I'll peruse this a little bit more to see if there's a sleeper, like as a cheap guy. But as far as like the top end range goes, it's really just Wyndham Clark that I'm going to be targeting out of this range here. I'll let you have the floor.
I mean, there ain't much to follow up with in this range, other than I guess Paul that I mentioned at the end of the last range is actually 5 under, so he's here. I don't mind him. That's a name I'll mention at 5 under here. And then Romain Langasque, I mentioned him on Tuesday on the show. I like this guy. Hitting the ball okay. Had a great round today. Didn't play too hot in the first round, but didn't really falter too bad. So I like him here. I think he shoots another 4 or 5, maybe 6 under round tomorrow. It's a guy I wanted to mention because I liked him coming into the week. And I'm going to go right back to him again. So I'll be playing him. And then I love the Wyndham Clark call. I'll be all over him tomorrow. I think that's a great call. And for the rest of the tournament, if you're playing like a weekend long too, definitely throw Clark in there. A great play.
So good.
I mean, he's hitting the ball so well. He can't putt that bad with the Ricky Fowler putter. I mean, you can't have the tailbird and just putt bad for that long. So he's going to turn it around. I could see him easily firing us a 7 under round tomorrow.
Dude, he's hitting it so good. I'm just going across the board on all his shots. I mean, just lighting it up. I mean, he's 2 better than the next best inside of 18 feet, which is Tom Kim. So yeah, he's ball striking the shit out of it. Yeah, Wyndham Clark, probably my favorite play for tomorrow. And if that doesn't work out, we're going to go right back to him on Sunday as well. Keep me down. Keep me noted for that one. So that's pretty much it for the 5 under range. Again, you can kind of look through some of the data. It's pretty ugly. As we go down into the 4 under range, a few better players. We just talked about Victor Hovland. I just brought up Victor Hovland's low 7 under round. I don't hate going back to him, but I'm not going to do it. I mean, he putted well today. His irons still don't look like elite from what I would want to target, and especially paying a price at 9,500. Yeah. Probably can't do that. Xander would probably be the interesting one, I guess, at 9,800. He's still hitting it decent, but no one's going to own him. His irons have actually been pretty terrible, but I would put a lot of faith into Xander turning it around over some of the other guys, even above him that have been playing good and just gaining with the putter. So like Xander would be an interesting bounce back spot. And I think we've seen him do that, not necessarily at a course like this, but we've seen him do this at what was that tournament? Like 2 years ago, like he was almost going to miss the cut. And I think he shot like 61 on Friday, Saturday. It was like basically about to win the golf tournament. And I think he shot like 78 or something in round 1. So like he can flip the switch. And I wouldn't mind having a sprinkle if you're building, 10 lineups or more. The rest of the guys in this range, Thomas Dietrich, I think is at -4. Yeah, Thomas Dietrich played pretty terrible today, tee to green. But the carryover from round 1 and honestly the carryover from his last couple events, I like Dietrich quite a bit as a target for tomorrow at 7,900. I don't think he'll be as highly owned just because people look at how bad he played today, tee to green. But I see it as like I think he did it on just a few specific holes. He lost half a shot on 3 holes. So that's 1.5 shots of the 2. I think actually more than that. 5 holes. He lost over 0.4 shots out of the, which is basically his 2 shots he lost. So yeah, Thomas Dietrich, I actually like quite a bit for tomorrow. On paper, it probably looks ugly, but I think he's primed for a nice bounce back spot based on how well he's been playing. And even off of yesterday's round, your boy Bjork is in this range. In the bottom range here for like the Europeans, again, not doing much for me. So I'm not super interested in the cheap guys in this range. I mean, Fleetwood's in here. Any of those guys are okay. So it's up to you. The cheap guys here just don't do it for me. Even if they have some decent stats for the week. Like I've pulled up a few guys. Like one guy I just pulled up just for example, he was in the bottom of the 5K or the 5 under range is Joachim Lagergren. Like, yeah, he's looked okay. And when you go, like, he hit some decent iron shots. He had 11 inside of 18 feet. You go pull up his recent results. He hasn't made a cut in like 2 months. And his last finish was a WD. So like, yeah, I mean, it does matter what his recent form was, even in Showdown. So just using that as an example, as we talk about some of the other guys in this range. So for me, it's really just looking at, Thomas Dietrich, who knows? He might be more popular than I think, but I assume people shy away from him based on his numbers today. And then the more I look at it, Xander is a fun little GPP play that has got to be like sub 5%, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. Some of our GPP plays are lining up. I like Xander tomorrow as well. I think that's a great call. And then I'm right there with you on Thomas Dietrich. I like Dietrich coming into the week. He was my favorite down in the range he was in, and played really well in the first day. He started out bad today. Honestly, he played a really good round other than the way he started. So I'll go right back to him. I do think his ownership's lower just because of his round today. And people kind of just scorecard watch. They watch, they just watch scores. They're like, oh, he shot 2 over. I'm not going back to him.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. So he'll come in lower, and I'm fine going back to him. So I'm right there with you. Dietrich, Schauffele, probably 2 of my favorites. I will go to Fleetwood.
Okay.
He was my pick to win this week. I think he fires a low round tomorrow. And then I'm kind of torn on Eric Cole. I don't know what to do with him. I like the guy. I've played him all year. He's been putting like crap. He's just a guy that can go low, so I kind of want to throw him in there because I think he's going to come in sub 5%.
I kind of like Eric Cole, to be honest. He's 7,400 for tomorrow. His iron shots have looked pretty good. He's actually made a decent chunk of his actual approach shots. So, I do think there's a different, skill level with the PGA Tour guys, and Eric Cole's one of them. So, yeah, I would take Eric Cole over a lot of the guys priced around him or below him that are European Tour guys. So, yeah, no issue with Eric Cole. I actually like that a good bit. The more I look at it, he's playing pretty solid, even for proximity numbers. So, yeah, I like that. Any others in that range, and then we can talk about the 3s and 2s and kind of group them together if you want.
Yeah, no, let's just lump this 2s and 3s together pretty good because I don't have anything else up there.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Probably my favorite play that I'm going to play tomorrow, going off late, unfortunately, is Nick Taylor. Was tempted to play him for the full week, and I didn't, regrettably, even though he's barely made the cut. But he was one of those guys that was in that category of, PGA Tour level player versus European Tour level player, and playing good. He just came off a win, so I didn't play him, and I think he's playing really good at the moment. He's not one of the longer guys. He's losing strokes or he's losing distance to the field, but he's hitting a lot of fairways, a lot of greens. Relatively speaking, in this range, he's the best as far as proximity inside of 12 feet and 18 feet, and he really hasn't made anything. I think he's losing strokes putting, a decent amount of strokes putting for the event. So I like Nick Taylor quite a bit. The other guys that I did play a lot, Gary Woodland's not really doing it for me, and he's not one that I'm tempted to chase at all. Victor Perez is interesting. He played actually pretty well. He's gaining over 55% in both off the tee and approach. And again, for like these cheap guys, or at least these lower end guys, that's kind of all I'm looking for. And then I guess a really cheap punt would be, well, he's not super cheap, but he's down here at the bottom, is Matthew Jordan at 6,600, I think. He's down here at 200, right?
Yeah, I think he's down there.
Yep, he is. Sorry, I scrolled up too far. Yeah, I think Matthew Jordan's interesting. Did not look good tee to green today, but I looked up his recent results. They've been all right, and I think I might take a stab on him in a couple. Yeah, like yesterday, he gained 1.5 strokes on approach. So I look at his proximity numbers. They actually look pretty decent, and it might just be carried over from yesterday, but I'll take a shot on that. But yeah, my favorite is going to be Nick Taylor. There's really not anybody in the -3s that I'm super tempted to play. Use Luton looks okay, but I probably won't click his name. And it's probably, I guess the absolute best on paper would be Matt Wallace in the -3s. And I'll probably leave it there because it's really I'm just kind of eyeballing Nick Taylor. And that's probably all I'm going to click down here.
Yeah, I'm a little different here. I do like a couple in the -3s, or in the -2s, but I actually like a handful in the -3s. So I'm there with you on Nick Taylor. I will agree with you there. I do like him. I liked him coming into the week. I always liked Nick Taylor. And this year, just playing some solid golf all around. Just looks great this year. So I'll keep going back to him. His price tag still isn't that high. So I'll definitely be playing a little Nick Taylor. Gary Woodland's another guy I wanted to mention. I liked him coming into the week. I think the track fits him well. So I'll go to a little Woodland tomorrow. And then getting up into the 3-unders, just really a bunch of names I like up here. I'll kind of
JT?
list them. What's that?
JT, you gonna go to play some JT tomorrow?
Oh yeah, you know it. I'll list them in order here, just kind of what I'm thinking tomorrow. Two of them, they're right by each other. I mean, Minwoo Lee, Justin Thomas. I like them both coming into the week. T Green, just solid all around. JT again. It's an every round occurrence. When these putts fall, he's going to shoot 8-9 under. I mean, it's going to happen. It's coming one of these days. Whatever. I'm just going to keep burning money until it happens, and I'm going to say hallelujah.
For one day. That's it.
Me and AP are sticking it out. So I like Minwoo and JT personally. Matt Wallace, I do like. So I'll be playing a little bit of Matt Wallace. And then the two guys that are cheaper in the cheaper range are Bjork and Jordan Smith. Like them both coming into the week. So those are going to be the last two guys I mentioned. But like I said, 5 guys here that I actually like a lot for tomorrow's round.
Yeah, JT is interesting. I mean, I look at his stats for yesterday and today. When he gained about 2 strokes ball striking today. And it looks like almost 2 yesterday, right? Is that right? No, he was even today ball striking and gained 2 yesterday. So, yeah, I got him. I mean, you're just kind of betting on talent, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at a bounce back at 8,500 for a guy that's way underpriced for where his potential could be.
Like I could just see Minwoo going super deep tomorrow too.
Yeah, Minwoo's kind of a scary fade in a way because he is one of those. He's like a Nikolai Hogard.
Yeah,
like he could like literally lose strokes putting and shoot 7 under, where he drives it and how he hits his irons some days. So yeah, like both of those calls. Actually, JT, the more I look at 8,500 for him, look at the guys that are like, who would you play around that? Like,
you got him and then 8,300 for Minwoo. I mean, that to me, you can fit a lot in there.
Yeah.
I mean, then you throw Clark. It's like, geez.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Tom Kim's just a little bit cheaper, but then like from there up, it's just then Wyndham Clark, I think, is like the next guy. I know you mentioned Fleetwood, but yeah, it's really just like JT on up to Wyndham Clark, I think. So I think that pretty much does it. Again, interesting slate just because everyone's going off pretty closely and there's really not going to be a weather edge and conditions should be pretty much the same. All right, let me just check for comments and then we can do we have a comment from Locke. She says, Soderbergh in my core. We'll find out about that in a second. Show core. We're talking about show core. All right, yeah, we can talk about a show core. And let's see if you're going to play Mr. JT in the show core. So I'm going to request to start so I can just be easy and play Wyndham Clark. But if you want to start with someone else or take the easy one, you can as well.
No.
It sounds like we're both going to click Wyndham Clark tomorrow.
Yeah, you can have Wyndham. You can take him. All
right. Who's your number 2 then? If Wyndham Clark's going to be number 1, it couldn't be Soderbergh. So it's got to be someone in the 8K range is my bet.
Yeah, it can't be Soderbergh. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go Minwoo tomorrow.
Okay.
8,300, Minwoo Lee.
Yeah, I kind of want to stay in the mid-range. Like, I tell you the guy that's really interesting, and again, from a core perspective, dude, Tom Kim's playing some good golf right now, and he's only 8,100. To me, that screams value. So I will my second one in will be Tom Kim at 8,100, leaving you plenty of flexibility if you want to pick a stud or leave even more salary.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I'm going to go Fowler. I'm going to go Ricky Fowler. I mean, coming into the week, the way he's playing, he's due. He's going to go 700.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we talked about it yesterday.
For a low one.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. So, I mean, Ricky was the easy click going off in the morning. But he was one of those that I thought you could fade because like he could shoot 500 par really solid, but you don't need the 500. Like you could get something lower from someone else, like a Hogard, which ended up working out. And I think what did Ricky shoot today? 4 under, and he shot 3 under. So like I said, I mean, I think he was 25% owned in a lot of contests. Might have been a little bit more or less depending on the contest. So yeah, I think Ricky is a guy you probably just keep going back to, and he's gonna bust a slate sooner or later. So there you go. Who was that? Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler, Tom Kim, and who was your first? Oh, Minwoo Lee. Plenty of salary left. So yeah, grab one value, and then you can pay up for McIlroy most likely, or you could at least attempt to get to him with a nice cheap value. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Forgot to do all the formalities, but please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we go live. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. Again, apologies for starting late. Just shit happens, and appreciate Locks for being flexible. So best of luck, guys. Should be a fun slate and a fun 2 days going into the British Open. So we will catch you tomorrow for round 4 showdown. See ya.